Yeah, I think well, it's a mixture of things. So Mr. Light has a scepter. The scepter is somehow tied to the fair's mood. Overall, he uses it to keep watch on the fair's mood and how everything's doing. And I think he believes that the the fair's mood is based on the crowd, and I think to some degree it is. But I think the bigger degree, I think it's based on him and maybe Mr. Witch. So Mr. Light, he is the biggest influencer of these things. Normally he's very happy, and so well, normally the fair is always at least mid level. But yeah, something must have happened tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so how much do you know what's going on
Very little. Or you meant about the carnival or just in general?
at the carnival?
Oh, a decent amount.
Well, why did you come to the carnival?
Because we got invited.
Gotcha. And she looks and she says, "Oh, I was a little disappointed. I thought maybe you would come to like uh, go to Prismere, but she said, but that's okay. So I'm sure you're wondering why I purchased VIP tickets for everyone.
Yes.
Yeah, just a little.
I mean, Prismere sounds cool, and I want to go, but like, we didn't know
Okay.
about it until we got here.
She said, yeah, she said there's going to be a lot of confusing things, I think, for you guys coming up, but hopefully it'll get um, a little more easier to follow soon. She says, so I'm actually, the reason why I bought the tickets, I'm actually here because you guys have books. You know, the metallic gold books that Mordekainen made, those
Uh-huh.
books.
Honorary pulls ours out.
Yeah. She
Yeah.
said, "Well, so anyway, I'm Eliwick Thumblestrom, and I'm something called a planeswalker. I can move between worlds, and I have a bunch of friends who can also, by a bunch, I mean five, but they can do the same thing. And we've kind of been tasked with saving all of reality. And well, those books were supposed to save reality, but we think that they're just going to end up causing more harm than good. So we're here to try to help too. I'm not from Ravnica, to be honest. Jace is, and a couple of my other friends. But so I'm a little new to this too. I'm actually from Faerun. Although at this point, I it's kind of hard to remember. I haven't been home in a long time, and I spent at least 300 to 400 years in the Feywild myself. Um, but um, and I know this is all probably a little overwhelming. I am here to help, and I was kind of hoping you guys came here on your own accord to help with Zablina's situation.
What is her situation?
So Sablina is missing in Prismere. And I know, like, Sablina doesn't really probably mean anything to any of you, but Sablina is the archfey of a very powerful, very close domain of delight in the Feywild. That's how this fair exists. It's actually Zablina's fair. Zablina created this fair to bring joy to children and people less fortunate, and also to kind of, I think it was like a, I mean, to be honest, I haven't talked to Zablina in literally 300 years, but when I did speak to her, I was told that it was set up so that the Feywild could bring like harmony and peace and a little bit of joy to the people within Faerun. Don't know if that's still the case, but more concerning, around 50 years ago, Zablina went missing, and now it's getting really bad because there's that. So there's this thing called the Hourglass Coven, and by the way, every single time I say this name, terrible things are probably going to happen, but I figure you should at least hear the name once. Probably shouldn't say it again at all. And as she says that, by the way, there is a tangible difference within the air. You actually feel the air get heavier around you. And she said, "Yeah, that's probably not a good thing, but it's very important that you actually know that name if you have any like inclination to try to help Sablina within the Feywild. The reason why I think it's important is because if Zablina is like really dead or worse or captured, or if she's incapacitated in some way and no one does anything, I really feel like this fair will end up being incredibly dangerous, not only to Faerun, but also with having a domain of delight collapse. That could be really dangerous. It's possible that that domain of delight could literally coalesce on itself and bring in a piece of the Shadowfell, since they're mirrors. If that were to happen, that would be devastating to not only this world but many worlds. So that's kind of why I was hoping you guys would come, but it's okay if you didn't. It's fine. The main reason that I wanted to meet all of you though was because you're supposed to be a piece of solving, I guess, random terrible things that are supposed to end all of existence. At least that's what Mordenkainen believes. Anyway, my friends are actually looking for other people with books too, and they all have different plans on how to, I guess, make things right or make things better. None of us really trust Mordenkainen, not because we think he's evil, but because we think he's kind of self-absorbed and probably wrong.
We met his familiar.
Yeah, I think something happens when you have been alive for 5,000 years and you create like 10 simulacrums of yourself and constantly trying to fight off the end of existence. My guess is, anyway. Anyway, I'm kind of new at this too. Like I said, you wouldn't even believe how I got here, but I have been around for a little bit now, and I have seen a lot of really crazy things. And I will tell you this: my friend Jace, he's shown me some really awful scenarios that might take place, and so I'm going to try my best to help that make that not happen. And I chose you guys. We all chose different groups, and I think this group is our best bet to make sure that things like this don't happen. But first and foremost, if you're willing to help, we have to figure out what's going on with Sablina and fix that scenario.
Do you have any ideas of exactly what happened to her?
So I can tell you this: around 50 years ago or so. So Sablina. So let me back up. The way that I knew that Sablina was not something was really terribly wrong is Sablina has the ability to take on patrons, just like powerful entities in like things like the Abyss or things like from the Outer Realms or even crazier things. Sablina also, matter of fact, all Archfey have the ability to essentially give pieces of their power as agents and bring them out into the world, just like something terrible. This is like the counterpart to that. However, all of her patrons stopped receiving power around 48 years ago, which was a huge bad sign, she smiles, and kind of terrible. So, first things first, I tried to get into the domain. Jace tried to get into the domain. A couple of other friends tried to get into the domain of delight. We're all locked out. None of us can get in. As a matter of fact, trying to that there are ways to actually get into the Feywild, and right now they're instant death. At least the ones that we unfortunately tried to. I'll be honest, we're not perfect at this, or at least I'm not. I'm very new at this too, and well, and she looks down at the ground. Let's just say that, like, 280 years ago, I'll give you an example. Like, before I knew that I could even planeswalk, let's just put it this way: bad things can happen if we're not careful. So I don't do any of that stuff anymore. I'm not ever going to put anyone in danger ever again, or think that we can get somewhere that we can't, or try to even take someone with us or whatever. It's just, let's just put it that way. It's not a good idea. So that's what brought me to the Witchlight Carnival. The Witchlight Carnival has a safe way to get into the Feywild because Sablina herself created it with that mirror in the Hall of Illusions. By the way, just so you guys know, there's so much more going on between. She says, so did Mr. Witch and Mr. Light tell you about Isold?
A bit.
All right. Well, there's way more going on about that. First and foremost, this isn't really any of my business, but Isold, I think, was in some way involved with Sablina, like might have been her partner, girlfriend, something like that. But most importantly, for whatever reason, they had a falling out, and I don't know if that has something to do with her disappearance or not. It could be a complete red herring, but the other thing that's strange is that Isold now runs the carnival in the Shadowfell, and I don't know why anyone in their right mind would ever take that up. So, and by the way, that's a terrible, terrible place. I've been to every Domain of Dread. You do not want to go. She says, so just be careful about that whole situation with Isold. I don't know if she's dangerous or not. I know she's incredibly powerful. I know that, I actually witnessed some of this. She was dead set on going to the Shadowfell. So just keep that in mind. Even if you wanted to convince her to swap carnivals, I don't think she would. She was hunting this thing called the Caller, which is this terrible ravenous demon that I think killed all of her friends. So just keep that in mind. I do think there was some kind of falling out with her and Zablina. I don't know if this is in any way connected to Zablina's disappearance, though. And unfortunately, I cannot get back to the Feywild to even investigate this. That's the one unfortunate side effect of being a planeswalker, is that I can't actually take normal planar portals at all. I have to use what's inherently inside of me to shift.
Do you know what the Caller is?
It's some kind of terrible, horrible, incredibly powerful demon, and it wiped out all of Isold's friends, and Isold was pretty capable.
Do you have a picture of it?
I don't. I don't even know what it looks like myself.
Do you know roughly where it dwells?
It does come from the Shadowfell. At least that's what I think Sablina told Isold. The creature came from the Shadowfell, essentially. I have no idea how it would ever make its way into the Feywild. I do know that occasionally, though, I honestly think that's why she did it. Like, my guess is she went back to the Shadowfell to try to kill the Caller.
I believe you're right. We got intel that is her objective.
Interesting. Well, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Like I said, I don't know if that has anything to do with Sablina at all. That could be just what happened. I don't know. But I do know that around that time, things started getting bad. And then 50 years ago, literally everything broke loose. And now, nothing. So, I fear the worst. It's possible Sablina's dead. Also, these hags, they've carved up Prismeer. Prismeer used to be one idyllic, amazing domain. And I know for sure it's split up into 3.
So there's definitely 3 hags.
Yes, there are 3 hags. And each hag does own its separate domain. One is named Hither. I think the other one is Thither. I don't remember the third one.
How much do you know about the Witchlight?
Mr. Witch and Mr. Light of the fair. First of all, it wasn't. Yeah, so the actual fair used to be called the Carnival before Mr. Witch and Mr. Light went through. As a matter of fact, Isold's carnival is called the Carnival. They're both supposed to be called the Carnival. I don't know why they changed the name, but I mean, I guess it makes sense. I know that ever since Mr. Witch and Mr. Light have owned the Carnival, it's actually been much better and much safer. As a matter of fact, Jace told me that to Shatter Kai running the Witchlight Fair was going to be a disaster and we'd probably have to take it down. And he was totally wrong. He was completely overreacting. But, and this is, again, I will tell you this, and I'll tell you why he thought that. But listen, if I tell you, you have to understand that there are things that you just will not have any grasp of because you have no empathy and you have never, ever, ever lived in Gloomrot. Can I trust you with this information?
I mean, I have a lot of empathy, but yeah.
Well, we'll see. Because once I tell you, if you act rashly, then Jace was right, and I won't be able to tell you other things. But I'm pushing through this, and I'm going to tell you because I think you should have all the information. So, are we good? And she looks over at everybody.
What happens if you disclose something you shouldn't?
Oh no, it's nothing like that. It's just that I mean, if you go off and do whatever, then the chances of us actually all like getting to exist go down. And I'm not kidding when I say that. Like they really do go down, unfortunately. So if you do rash, terrible things because I gave you this information, well then I, kind of caused that because I'm the one who told you. At least that's what Jace tells me. But I don't believe in some of the things that Jace says, and I'm going to do what's right, and I'm going to tell you, but you have to use that information responsibly and not act rashly. Okay? It's hard for me too, by the way. I mean, I'm an actress and I sing for a living, so I'm a little impulsive myself. But I need everyone to be rational about what I am about to tell you. Deal?
Yeah, I think you can trust us with this information.
We're all
Deal.
pretty responsible bunch.
Okay. All right. So this is why Jace thought that the carnival would end up being a disaster, and why Jace originally wanted to actually go in and assassinate Mr. Witch and Mr. Light. And this is kind of how these things work and go through it. And he had good reasons, but again, I'm going to tell you the whole story. So, a long time ago, Mr. Witch and Mr. Light grew up in Gloomrot. Does anyone know what Gloomrot is? And she smiles. Probably not, right?
I mean, I'm pretty familiar with the area, but
And she looks at you. She said, "Did you go to Gloomrot?" She's talking about the city. She's talking about the city, Gloomrot.
I've never actually been to that part, but I've heard the tales.
And, well, so Gloomrot is in the cap. Gloomrot is basically the city name in the entire area of Gloomrot, and she said it is one of the most terrible places in existence if you have never been. So, anyway, Mr. Witch grew up as a clockmaker orphan. Mr. Witch should have died several times as a child. His only friend was the man that you know as Mr. Light. So Mr. Light grew up in an incredibly wealthy, aristocratic Shatter Kai family. And she looks at you, Kylena. So, long story short, Mr. Witch and Mr. Light ended up developing a relationship, which is instant death in Gloomrot society. If you are aristocratic, your family will literally have you killed, or worse. And there are worse things. So, unfortunately, not only did they have to hide that, but one of his family members did find out and they had to separate. Well, this broke Mr. Light. And Mr. Light went a little crazy for a little bit as a teenager and started playing pranks. And those pranks escalated to him literally killing other people for fun. By the way, this plagues Mr. Light to this day. I know. But yes, he was kind of a serial killer for years. Anyway, he ended up getting so he basically stole a bunch of his family's money. He ran off with Mr. Witch. They bought the carnival, leaving his entire family. And this was Mr. Light's way of also trying to break the cycle of his own problems. And sure enough, it worked. And then they met Isolde. And see, Mr. Light has just always wanted to be happy, as a matter of fact. He just didn't know how to. I told this to Jace so many times. Jace just wanted to wipe, the floor with him. But I was right, because as soon as he got the carnival, he has wanted nothing more than just to make everyone happy and be happy. That is all he cares about. And honestly, they have done a better job with this fair than Isolde ever did. So see, things can get complicated. Also, we were also told originally that Mordecanian is just going to end up ceasing all reality with this grand experiment that he has by just giving people these books to become, I don't know, destined heroes or whatever. And so everyone's dealing with things differently. All of us are trying different approaches to make sure that reality doesn't stop. But that's what's going on. So can I trust you? No one's going to go off and kill Mr. Light, right?
I don't think
Definitely
so.
not.
Oh,
Okay.
Mr. Light.
Okay. All right. Well, good. So see, I can trust you.
How does all of reality end with these books?
Many ways, many times. We're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. Jason said he's seen it over 1,000 times. There's a lot of things that go wrong, and none of them are specific. And every time you tell someone something, it changes, and that's why I also have to be very, very careful. Even though I am of a better mind than Jason, I want to tell you everything. Jace says that he's tried that and it never ever works, and always terrible things end up happening. But anyway, I'm going to try a different approach than he is, and we'll see how this goes. But there's a lot of things. As a matter of fact, she says, "Good news. The reason why I'm even with this group is you guys already stopped a huge cataclysmic event in the Tomb of Horrors. Yeah, thanks to Jace, I saw all of it.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing, right?
It was. And I got to tell you, too, I don't know how much you know of that, but it was going to be really, really bad. If Isaric had ascended to godhood, the Witchlight Fair wouldn't even be going on right now. As a matter of fact, we would be at the last ropes of all of Faerun's creature, everything. It would be a blink, apocalyptic, awful mess. And you've already stopped that. But trust me, there's thousands of other things that are going to go wrong, and so that's why Mordecanian did what he did, by the way, because he can't always stop these things from happening. His problem is magic. He claims that if magic exists, this will always be the way that it has to be, and he's, by the way, succeeded for thousands of years. I mean, reality hasn't ended, but he claims it's getting worse. So anyway, but I do have a plan too. I'm not an idiot, even though some people think I could be, but I'm not. And I don't mean you guys. It's just that you wait till you meet my other friends. They're super smart, way smarter for their own good. But anyway, the thing is that I think that courage and goodness and all those things are more important, and that's what I'm going to try on my side. And that's why, first and foremost, we should help Sablina.
Okay. Do you also see into the future like Jace?
No, Jace actually shows me. I actually cannot see in the future like Jace. I can do a lot of other things. For instance, she said, you wouldn't know this because I kind of made everyone forget, but I'm actually the greatest performer in Faerun's history. And it's thanks to something you probably... Oh, actually, maybe you have heard of it, she said. Has anyone ever heard of the Deck of Many Things?
Yes.
Ventrix's head probably perks up.
He actually
Yeah.
saw it.
She said, well, I wouldn't touch it if I were you, but I did, and well, it turned out okay for me. And she smiled.
Impressive.
She said, yeah, it's kind of like destiny chose me.
I thought Destiny chose me.
Other than what Fentrix told us, would we know about the Deck of Many Things?
Not really. I mean, it was so out of character. The Deck of Many Things was within the Tomb of Horrors, but you guys decided to bypass it. Unfortunately, you never got close enough to know for sure that that was the Deck of Many Things.
Hmm.
That would be the only thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you must know a lot about our group from Jace and following
From
up.
Jace, but I also did my own. I actually can watch you at any moment. I know that's a little scary and creepy, but it's because I'm now tied to you thanks to Jace. If you guys don't want me to watch you, just let me know, and I can ask Jace to turn it off. I think. But so here's the other thing. We all have pluses and minuses. For some reason, I can go to places that Jace can't go to. None of us, unfortunately, can go to the Feywild in this Domain of Delight, the specific one, unfortunately. But I am able to go to certain places that Jace is not able to planeswalk in. He doesn't know why either. But we also have other skills as well. She said, like, for instance, I wouldn't leave this area if I were you guys tonight. And she looks behind her. This area is literally crawling with nasty things now. Ugh.
Yeah, have I been getting anything as I've been keeping it
So that's
for?
exactly. So you actually cannot see anything, and you've not seen any stirrings. But every now and then, with when you're looking at things, it does look like there's, like the Predator effect where it's semi-invisible. You've noticed that a couple times now.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, you can. I think you're safe here, but I don't know that for sure. And unfortunately, like I said, remember, I can't take any of you. Been there, done that. It's not good when it doesn't go well. But just watch out for tonight. He said, so did Mr. Light tell you how to get into Prismir?
Yes, through the Hall of Mirrors.
Yeah, right. So he just has to activate it for you. Worst case, if they weren't, I don't know what you guys did to convince them, but if they weren't so convincing, we could have always tried to convince them through less like savory means, meaning that, see, did anyone ever see Mr. Witch's pocket watch?
Yes, I did.
Well, that's the item that he uses to actually pack up the fare. Matter of fact, that pocket watch makes you gain 30 pounds. So if anyone were to ever steal it, prepare to gain 30 pounds. But on top of that, but on top of that, it is literally the most important item in the Witchlight Fair. So we don't have to do this now, but I mean, worst case, you could have tried to steal it or something and bargained it back to go in or something like that. Although, I'm not even sure if that would have worked necessarily. But this item, once he activates it, the fair will literally start to pack up on its own. It's pretty amazing, the magic item. He said, so what's everyone's plan for tomorrow?
I think we were gonna stick around one more day, see what information we can get from the fair, and at the end of the day, we were gonna head off to Prismir.
Yeah, I think that works. I will tell you this: the sooner the better. So Jace told me, by the way, there is another group that's helping us. I don't know if they're actually in Prismir because I think they went through the carnival entrance first. So just as a heads up, if you see any other people that look like they're out of place, it's probably them.
And you see Kino's just kind of thinking over when she said that she was always watching them. And so you must have a startling amount of insight to our group.
A little bit. Yeah, I do.
Well,
She said, oh, you mean like you being a paladin of Tiamat? Yeah, I know.
I mean, yeah, but yeah.
Just so you know, another thing, Jace wanted to assassinate you right away, but again, I told him that was probably a bad idea. So
Also disagree.
He has to get in line, I think. I think there's a queue forming.
yeah, I mean that's the other thing. Mordecanian chose everyone for a reason, I think. So, um, and he's not a stupid person. He's done amazing, amazing things. Do you know he's not even from Faerun?
Yeah, you mentioned before that you weren't from Ravnica. I'm assuming he is.
No, no. Mordecanian is from Greyhawk. Greyhawk's not
Oh,
even around. It was destroyed. I can still get there though.
that's interesting.
Technically, you went there once, Kino.
For a few seconds. My
Oh,
memory's
that's
great.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was. Did you go there from the Tomb of Horrors? There's actually little pieces of Greyhawk within the Tomb of Horrors and other places too. That's confusing. I don't really know how that
Oh,
works.
she actually went to just the city being destroyed. It was
Oh,
awesome.
Yeah.
you went to Castle Greyhawk and the actual. So that's where I can get to. Wow. She said, "Wow, that's impressive."
Kino's very upset looking, just
It's
staring
it's
at
yeah. Yeah, it's really, really tragic. Those
Grim-
people. So if I could bring people over, I would absolutely do it. That's actually what happened. I was attempting to save the last remaining people on Greyhawk. Did not go well.
Grin looks confused as to why Kino's glaring at him.
It wasn't you, but the guy who did it looked just like you.
He had your face.
By the way, that's one thing we can do too. If we ever get the opportunity, promise me you will help. There are literally thousands of people waiting to die on an Earth moat that will eventually run out of air and water in Castle Greyhawk, in that city. It's a 30-mile piece of land that is literally spinning in the cosmos that will one day just cease to exist. These are the last surviving members of Greyhawk. If you ever get the chance, please promise me you'll try. I tried. I and she says I actually killed everyone I tried to help. So, but the problem is getting back. I can't even bring people back from Greyhawk. You'd have to find like a better way to get there somehow.
There's no teleportation circles that you know, right?
It
No,
was.
no, Greyhawk is not even. So she said, "Do you know how all this works?" She says, "Probably not." She said, "So everything you think you know about like magic and the way Faerun works is probably not true or real." She said, and this is going to sound strange and crazy, but there are a couple worlds that you've probably never heard of within our specific crystal sphere. But Greyhawk doesn't exist within our sphere. Greyhawk exists in a sphere floating in phlogiston millions of miles away from here. So you would have to find a way to break the impenetrable crystal sphere of this place, travel through the phlogiston, which, by the way, I don't know if anyone knows what phlogiston is, but it's nasty stuff, and you can't breathe there either. It will eventually just kill you if you let it go through. If you try to use magic, which doesn't work, except for very specific spells, one of them being, for instance, and she looks at you, Henri Fireball, it would start a chain reaction that would obliterate you and everything else within many, many square miles. So it's a nasty, nasty, nasty way to go through. I don't have to go through any of that. I can just planeswalk to Greyhawk. I can actually get through the Crystal Spheres and planeswalk. It's nothing like teleportation. But that's the problem. She said you'd have to find a physical way of getting all the way over there and bringing everyone back. But you have no idea how tragic that situation is. So yeah, I doubt this will ever happen, but if you ever do get the chance, please promise me you will help those people.
Well, we still have a way back there right now, so if we ever get a chance, we'll try.
Thank you.
theoretically we
I
have
I, I appreciate that. Thank you.
So, you said you were watching this group. Did you start watching us as soon as we got the books, or did you start watching us prior to that?
No, Jay showed me everything actually, and some stuff that never even happened. But so yeah, and I mean, and also I do have magic of my own. As a matter of fact, for instance, I know that Candlefoot the Mime and oh, what was her name? Palasha, the mermaid, I think. Anyway,
In a
Candlefoot the Mime and
relationship?
Palasha. Yes, they are. I saw that myself. They are in a relationship. Yep.
Well, I
How
mean,
did you know?
a hamster told me. Did a hamster tell you?
Not exactly. I actually oversaw them. I have this crazy ability where I can actually take my sight and I can basically move it around up to a couple miles from where I am. And I was spying when I wasn't supposed to be, and oversaw some things I probably shouldn't have seen. But just in case it comes in handy, I think it's cute. Oh, she says, you know why too? Candlefoot the Mime has something weird going on with him. And did you see him in the act? He's incredibly pale. Well,
Did you see
uh,
him in the act?
uh, kind of. Not traditionally, not like you think, but yes.
No, I meant
Um,
what you think.
well, so let me put it this way. Um, Palasha has the weird ability, that mermaid. She can bring his color back. I think he's got like some illness or something. But anyway, she's able to bring his color back with her music. And so I don't know what. Anyway, long story short, they're in a relationship. So I don't know if that all will come in handy, but yes, no, the hamster didn't tell me. I do know the hamster you're talking about. I love those. I love those. I love everything about that village. I actually really like this fair. That's kind of one of the reasons why I'm here. To be honest, I really like this fair.
It's a great fair.
You know,
So you know all of our entire lives. Do you still have contact with people in our
well,
group that aren't living?
not really your entire lives, to be honest. I kind of. Jace only showed me the important things, and he says the important things was when you guys started in the Tomb of Horrors. But so I don't know your entire lives. Um, and again, maybe I'm not as smart as Jace, but at the end of the day, I really do like think he's wrong in one sense. He uses logic way too much. Like he doesn't follow his heart at all. I don't know if he has a heart, but I guess we'll find out. But yeah, he I mean, and don't get me wrong, Jace is a really good person. Jace absolutely is 100% dedicated to making sure reality does not collapse. Uh, there's not a mean bone in his body, but he's very, very smart.
Sounds
Sometimes I think too
dangerous.
smart for his own good. Well, and she looks at you, Kino. I guess you would think that because you are a paladin of Tiamat and he did want to take you out. But to be honest, I'm hoping that he's wrong. I don't even know that he's wrong, but let's hope. Let's
He
hope.
sound he sounds very black and white. And not
Yeah,
even
he is a little black and white, I guess. But
and not even that. I get the sentiment. I can't even
yeah,
believe
I
it.
mean, Tiamat's kind of awful. And she looks at your brother and she says, um, and you're very patient, so I like you because you're very, very patient, which is good.
It is a virtue.
Yeah.
So, like, can you see people like Johnny right now? Can you see people like Elda? Can you see
I can't really
Fenrir?
see. So that's the thing. Like I would need Jace with me, and I can only. It's like watching. How do I explain this? I'm able to see it once when he allows me to, and I kind of have to be in his presence. And there's this like glowing thing in his hand that I have to look at. I guess this means nothing to any of you. Regardless, though, um, I am able to like remote view and I can see things then, but I can't like just go find people. Unfortunately, it has to be something that I'm like pointing at, or like I can like find and see. Sometimes I do that just for fun, by the way. Sometimes I'll just trance and go through and see what I can, see. But she says I talk too much, don't I?
No, I think this is all really good information. Um, is there anything you'd like to tell us about ourselves that we don't know or stuff we missed?
Let's see. And she thinks, Tiamat's kind of bad. I mean, keep that in mind.
Well, we all know
Um,
that.
Noted.
Uh,
Besides
Let's
that?
see. Hmm. And she thinks to herself, and she says, "No, but if I think of something, I really will say it. Like I'm not holding anything back." Um.
Do I believe her?
Yeah, you can insight check her.
Yeah, 11.
11? Yeah, you believe her. Yeah. 16, you would believe her as well. Yeah, she seems to be telling the truth. Um, yeah, she says, we're kind of flying blind here. Like the other thing is to just keep in mind, especially once you get to Prismere, we're not going to be able to talk for a little bit, but once you get back, I'll keep you in the know, or try to at least.
Is there anything you can tell us about Prismere we should know before going there?
No, but I did see something weird within the Hall of Illusions. She says, I wish I could bring you guys over there, but when you go to the Hall of Illusions, just check this out. This is strange to me. He said, in the interest of the Hall of Illusions, and maybe someone else can understand the significance of this, but there is a wooden mannequin. It's like grinning. It's a grinning raven-haired woman in witch's attire. She has a green flowing cape, and she hovers inside a glass cabinet. It's a mannequin that hovers inside a glass cabinet. Does anyone know where this is going?
No.
Well, just wait till you see the sign above it. And she said, I'll give you a clue though. The sign is Tasha the Wizard, known for his hideous laughter. Why on earth is that in the Hall of Illusions? Assume everyone knows who Tasha is. Be careful of her.
Yes.
Yeah. She's just as powerful, if not more powerful, than Mordekainen. And God knows what she's up to. So I don't think she has anything to do with this fair, but just keep on the lookout.
Table talk. Should we ask her about the finger?
I feel like we should keep that on the down low for now, because I don't
think there's a ton she could do about it.
Also, if she's been watching, then she knows.
That's a good point. Okay.
Hey, is there anything you could tell us about when we were up north? That whole expedition kind of got to us.
Yeah, she said, that wasn't great. I can actually. Do you know that half of Tin Towns was destroyed? Thousands of people died.
Yes.
But it's not, I wouldn't say that was any of your fault. You were fighting a god. But she said, yeah, this Zentarum kind of took things over, but that's not the worst of it. So does anyone know a place called Barovia?
Do we?
I don't. Go ahead and make a history check. Everybody can make history checks. You can make an Arcana check, but you'd have to roll that 20.
Nope.
Yeah, no one does. She said,
17.
yeah, 20 is not high enough for this. She said, so. She said, so. The reason why this is significant. Remember when I was talking about the. So again, this could be related. It could be just a red herring, but so one of the domains of dread is collapsing and the Dark Lord is escaping, and that is coming from Barovia. Don't know exactly what happened. I got filled in through Jace. Long story short, though, Strahd, the domain ruler of this terrible, awful place, is imminently escaping. Even if I could send you there and I can't, I think it's too late. unfortunately, because of the events that happened within Icewind Dale, so the Zentarium moved up. Do you guys know that, by the way? Do you know the Zentarium is now encamped in Icewind Dale?
Yes,
I
we
do
do.
believe Fentrix told us that.
Okay. Well, that's good because that's really really important. So the Zentarum went up and tried to defeat Auril themselves. There's this very powerful wizard up there named Hallister. Um, they've already started to engage Auril. The problem was that battle weakened an already ancient ley line that exists within Icewind Dale and always has. Strahd used that as a beacon, and any day now will also be within Icewind Dale. And when that happens, all hell will break loose. It's going to be a disaster. Um, but unfortunately, there's not really much we can do about that right now. That's why I'm saying first things first. I don't know what's going to happen when Strahd uh, is intermingled with Rill and whatever. But for now, actually, at the very least, the Zatarim are up there and they are trying to deal with it. So we'll see what happens. I mean, Hallister is kind of insane and kind of evil, but he is incredibly powerful. So it's and by the way, I've been told by Jace that hopefully that situation will work itself out. If not, he's going to try to change the tides so that someone else hopefully deals with that. But just keep that in mind. If things start to go really, really bad, you might have to address that at some point.
Sorry, what was the dynamic between Hallister, Strahd, and Auril again?
Well, Hallister and Auril started a all-out war, and the magic that went back and forth weakened the ley line that has always existed within Icewind Dale. Worse, she said, "I'm going to get in so much trouble by saying this, but I guess I have to. I don't know if I could be ruining things and destroying things right now. Like for all I know, I just ended the world by telling you this, but I'm going to tell you. So there is an ancient Netherese temple that's actually crashed and buried within Icewind Dale, but it's locked. A matter of fact, the only way to get it would be to the only way to get into it. It's actually completely frozen. There's a giant frozen waterfall. You have to speak a poem within the Code Isle of Wight to even get inside of it. Um, uh, and then once access to it, it actually has this incredibly powerful artifact that Strahd is using as his beacon. It's a giant black monolith. Anyway, um, that that's how he's going to enter in any day now. Once he does, I don't know. He's probably going to end up. I mean, he's more powerful than Auril. So, and my guess is Auril is not going to like another god coming in and being in her domain. And then of course you have Hallister there. You have all this Zentarum. No idea what's going to happen. Jace has some ideas, but there's many outcomes. He says so. But
Okay.
good news. The good news is that what's happening in the Feywild actually has more disastrous consequences if it's not fixed by a factor of maybe 5.
Alright, so we'll see to that. We'll try and get that straightened out. Try not to make it worse.
Yeah. She said now do you guys kind of get the idea of how bad everything is and how this all works? I mean, that's just 2 things you know about. It's actually best that you don't even think about it, to be honest. It started to give me depression.
Yeah, you and me both. So we actually got word from him, and I'm going to point to Fentrix, that there was a small party that is going to be trying to track us down and find us. Last time I heard, they were up in 10 towns. That
They
she had a.
Yeah, they already went to Grimskala, but they haven't made it out yet, so I don't know what's going on.
Okay. Well, at least we know we have time. And, not allied with
Yeah.
anyone.
Yeah, it's funny because Jace tells me that I'm like ruining everything and like gonna cause like world cataclysmic events by opening my mouth and saying too much. But I gotta be honest, Jace is really smart and he gives really, really good information and things still go wrong. So I'm just gonna do everything and we'll see what happens. So I'll tell you anything.
You were watching us when we entered the tomb?
Well, no. I got to see it all, but to be honest, I started watching you guys way after you went into the tomb. But so kind of.
Okay, I misspoke. You weren't watching it live, but you saw it.
Yeah, correct.
Did any of the party that I went in with originally make it out?
No. No. No, I'm sorry.
Do you know what happened when I finished the Book of Dragons?
Yeah. That one I'm really not supposed to talk about. She said, she looks at brother, she says, I hope I'm not
You have my
breaking
permission.
things. So yeah. I really hope I'm not breaking things. But anyway, so yeah, you released all these dragons that were locked away from the Cult of the Dragon. And by the way, I don't think inherently that was a bad thing, Kino. She says, I think that's probably fine. Just understand that these dragons are way more powerful than you could possibly imagine. Tiamat is way more powerful than I think even you can possibly imagine. She said Bahamut is way more powerful than you could possibly imagine. Everything you know about those dragons is wrong. Everything. You can't even comprehend. They exist in several different domains at once. It also makes my head hurt. And dragons are not what you think. But I really should stop there.
Okay.
Are our doubles still out there?
Yes. I'm actually not allowed to watch your doubles, by the way, because they do really, really bad things. And I saw it once, and I wasn't the same after that. So Jace had to mind wipe me. But yeah, I'm not allowed to watch them.
I got to experience it firsthand.
Well, I really think you guys should take care of that. By the way, I was going to tell you that anyway. That's also what my heart says. Do this in Sablina, and then take care of your doubles because they're not good.
Trust me, it's on the list. Even my double.
Your double's dead. You know. The group murdered her.
No, did they find her?
Yeah. Yeah.
Even after. Okay.
Yeah, and I don't even want to talk about it. By the way, she says, actually, never mind. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I saw both, by the way. I saw both.
Yeah, so did I. Well, I saw the first one in it.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't change it.
Yeah, also having Elminster out there has been a huge, huge problem. Jace is dealing with that personally.
The evil Elminster, or
Mm-hmm. You know.
no? I thought we fixed that.
You did and you didn't. It's actually a disaster.
So
The evil Elminster. This is going to get very, very, very confusing to you. But
It already is.
the evil Elminster. You did fix it on that timeline, but that evil Elminster did exactly what Bahamut is doing today, and unfortunately, that evil Elminster started existing in a place called Eberron, with this thing called a simulacrum. So that evil Elminster, thank God, is only half as powerful, still a major, major problem, and he did this on the off chance that someone would fix the first timeline, which you did. By the way.
Well, so wait, so the evil elements that are running around right now is a simulacrum?
The evil Elminster running around right now is a simulacrum that is not technically on Faerun doing terrible, horrible things in Faerun. It's very, very confusing. So, I can tell you if you really, really want to know. I was going to save this until you were going to go after him. Long story short, the evil Elminster did this heinous ritual to make sure that no one could take him out. What he did is she said, anyone familiar with simulacrums?
I mean, Amanda is, but I don't think Anna is.
She said, well, it doesn't really, she said it doesn't really matter. Long story short, basically he used it as a failsafe. And he was able to jettison that simulacrum and hide it within this walled-off world called Eberron. It's one of the hardest worlds to get into. Matter of fact, it's even hard for me to get into. It's
Try getting
completely
out of
sealed.
it.
Well, she said exactly. She said, we should talk about that later, by the way. Jace does want to talk to you because we're still all very confused on how that happened. But anyway, she said, so long story short, though, he went there specifically so that he would be safe. And he did this literally days after this happened. Now, when you reset the original timeline, that should be fine. But because he existed in Eberron, and the way that Eberron, and he did this on purpose, the way that Eberron flows, especially within the Philistrum, especially within all of time. By the way, I hate to tell you this, but that's also where the real Bahamut is. And by real, I don't really mean real. It's very confusing, very, very hard. But let's say the most powerful version of Bahamut lives as well. The most powerful version of many dragons live there, not all of them. And he looks at you, Kino. Anyway, so, and by the way, if I even told you all of it, your heads would explode. It's not really depressing, but very confusing. Anyway, so long story short, he jettisoned this thing, the simulacrum, into Eberron and made it dormant. Right before the timeline corrected itself, he was so powerful that he literally had a heads up on that. It only took minutes for him to do this, and he transferred as much power as he could to the simulacrum before he ceased to exist. Now, the simulacrums are never, ever, usually ever as powerful as as the original anyway. However, in this case, he did become almost half as powerful. This simulacrum is not powerful enough yet to get back to Faerun because it's going to try to undo the timeline that you guys did. Very confusing, I know. It has to be taken out at some point. So instead, it's using magic and other things to influence things over here and bring agents over here as much as it can to go through that. So as you can imagine, a complete nightmare. Make sense? Now, as you can imagine, now you know 3 things. 3 things out of many things that could completely end reality.
It sounds like we should
yeah.
do one thing at a time.
I think so. I think that's the best thing. And don't let this get depressing. Reality hasn't ended so far. So we must, people are doing something, like Mordecanian is doing something right. And this was before he created the book. So I think that's the reason why he did it, by the way. It was getting overwhelming and he thought he was going to slip and fail. These books are a giant failsafe. My guess, no one knows this for sure, but I told Jace that what he did was create these books so maybe he's looking for someone to help. Maybe he's looking for someone that can actually do this work with him or whatever. I don't know, but that would be my best guess. And this is a way to find that person or people. But anyway, like you said, let's just take care of one thing at a time, and we'll see how this goes, hopefully.
What was up with my village being invisible when that dragon was there? Do you know that?
She said, honestly, we don't know all of that.
Fair enough.
She said, but this should be terrifying to you. And she looks at you, Kino. There hasn't been a steel dragon that's been awoken in literally thousands upon thousands of years, and that steel dragon exists in multiple worlds. So I actually have no idea, and Jace doesn't either, understand what's going to happen there. that was kind of a big deal. And she said, for everyone that doesn't know, steel dragons, they actually hibernate within themselves. They actually make that they're one of the most powerful dragon races in all of existence, and they are so powerful that they literally erase their minds. They erase their existences over and over again so they can experience the world as immortal. It's literally like the universe experiencing itself over and over and over again so it can kind of evolve and learn. Well, Kino accidentally disturbed that process and woke it up.
By accident.
Accidentally.
But what does it have to do with everyone in my village being invisible?
Well, so it was there, going through one of its many plays. It's basically like, it basically just tries to live out a kind of like a stylized, exciting version of what it means to be a human or a gnome or whatever. And
So it's playing like a role-playing game.
right, exactly. It's a
I've heard
game.
of those.
It is playing a game, essentially. Yes, the Steel Dragon is playing a game within its own world. Unfortunately, though, what you interrupted during that whole process, we're not even really sure yet. I see, this one's a little dangerous, actually. Grin, tell you what, why don't you ask me after we've dealt with Sabrina? Because this one I am getting a little nervous about. Well, I really do need to be careful. But yeah, I promise you, though, I will not let you not know about what happens to your village. And as far as I know, your village is safe for now, so.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a lot of things going on, guys. That's why I was kind of hoping that at this point, I've been watching for a long, long time, and I really think now is the time for us to at least do something about some of this stuff. Now, I'm not perfect, and I don't know everything, so remember that. No one is. But I am going to try my best to make sure that things don't go terrible.
Well, if you've been watching us for so long, then you know of the proposition I've received.
She looks at you confused. She said, actually, I don't. She said, to be honest, I couldn't even see some of the stuff that happened between you. I was going to ask you, but I didn't want to be rude.
Interesting. Do you know anything of the Empyrean Court?
You said, yeah, the Imperial Court. I do know. So, full disclosure, I have been to the Domain of Angels. They are also scary, although amazing. I wasn't able to go there for long, though. My advice to you, if you have anything to do with them. Oh, she said, here's the other thing as well. Anytime the Bahamut's involved with something, anytime that, matter of fact, anytime that Tiamat is directly involved with something, I'll be honest with you, I won't be able to see that. Bahamut and Tiamat have the ability to completely take us out, meaning Jace can't even see what's going to happen to Tiamat in the end. She's a complete black hole. Same thing with Bahamut.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, to answer your question, brother, they are incredibly powerful beings. Maybe the only beings in existence more powerful than dragons. Maybe. So just be careful, whatever you do with them. I know they're good, but they're good in a scary way.
Well, what if I told you that I had an offer to receive their blessing?
He said, well, that would be an amazing way to become incredibly powerful, which I guess makes sense since you guys are book holders. I mean, there is a reason Mordecanian chose everyone. It would lead to probably some crazy, amazing power. Just be careful. I mean, they're good beings, don't get me wrong, but sometimes they're so good that even I'm afraid of them. and they are kind of very black and white. So just be careful. But yes, there is probably immense power with that, given what I know about them.
Then would you recommend we make a stop there first before we go to Prismeer?
She said, "Well, how are you getting in?"
Let's just say I have a front door pass.
She said, "Yeah, I mean, it's probably smart." She said, I can't guarantee that's the right move, obviously. I don't even think I'll be able to see you, or Jace will be able to see you if you go into that place. Just whatever you do, be careful, because again, maybe that's the wrong move. What if you go and they like obliterate you? Then this would be all for nothing. So just be careful. And by the way, they are kind of scary. Like they're very. I mean, I don't know if you've ever met a being like that, but they are very much. And he looks at Kino, like, for instance, I wouldn't go there if I were you. That might be a one-way ticket to permanent, like, obliteration.
I don't plan on it, especially after the last time I talked with Bahamut.
Oh, this is not Bahamut. What he's talking about is way scarier, actually. And,
No,
and
I
Bahamut, for the most part, is good. And Bahamut's reasonable, I think. These beings are also reasonable, but I gotta be honest, they are very much ends justify the means beings. But they are also some of the most powerful beings in the entire planescape. So to answer your question, brother, I do think it could be worth it. Just remember that they're that they can also be a tad scary. What did they ask of you, by the way?
Bahamut has sponsored me for an audience. They've offered me let's call it a job offer.
She said, well, good luck. Hopefully it works. She says, also, Kylena, one thing I can tell you is that if there is any chance at all of curing yourself or your people, it's going to be within a domain of delight. I can't promise you it's within Prismeer. It might be, but just remember that.
That had been the intention of going there. Do you know if the Harpers have started looking for me yet?
I don't actually know. I could find out. It'll take me a little bit. I could of course find out. Yeah. By the way, I know you're kind of duty bound to report this. I don't know if it's a good idea. I mean, I'll let you decide, but
Can you share any insight on that whole thing with the Dracacorn that I heard?
yeah, she said so. She laughs and she says, "You're asking." Like she goes to you. Are you really trying to bring Tiamat back?
Yes, she is.
I can't tell you then. I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm.
She is woefully misguided.
I'm starting.
Yeah, I really can't tell you then. I'm sorry. And Kino, I will tell you this too. If your intention is to bring Tiamat back, I've seen Tiamat do terrible things. So if your intention is to bring Tiamat back, I won't be helping in that. Sorry. I mean, I know I said I'd say things, but I'm not going to say things that could possibly hurt people. So
I understand. Just understand where I'm coming from, and that my actions were to help all the dragons in the books too, not just the one.
well, you'll see. You will see. I mean, that's going to change a lot of things. Jace was kind of very unhappy about that, but at the end of the day, maybe it's going to be a good thing. I mean, I mean,
I mean, from
she
what you
said, "Let's."
said,
Well, she said, "Well, we'll see." I mean, it's not like it's just Bahamut and Tiamat anyway.
there's a lot of people in play, and I think any allies we have in the fight right now we need, especially when there's Dark Lords, Hollister, and Aril, and
She said, "No, that's not what I mean. I mean, what's going to happen when Sardor comes back?"
I was gonna ask about them.
She said, "Sardior is imminent. He's coming back, and God knows what's going to happen then." And she looks at the rest of you. She said, "Sardior is the god of Gem Dragons. It's never just been Bahamut and Tiamat. Sardior is just as powerful."
Be taken out the recording.
No, it's fine. It's close enough. I think it's okay.
Yes, anything you could tell us about him?
Well, he is incredibly private, and he left a long time ago. And I have a feeling that he's back thanks to you, you know. And who knows if that's going to make him happy or angry. You did release a bunch of crystal dragons back into Faerun. Some of these crystal dragons, you have to understand, were literally floating in the astral sea when they were bound. I know you didn't know that, but oh well. And so now they're all within Faerun. And by the way, Sardior was busy killing the last of the Faerun. I mean, he had things he was doing. It's not like he was just sitting in the astral sea asleep. So we'll see what happens.
I guess we will.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with that either. All I can tell you is that Jace was really upset. But she looks at everyone else. She says, "I don't know if you know this, but yes, there are crystal dragons, sapphire dragons, topaz dragons, obsidian dragons, all kinds of dragons, emerald dragons. Well, you'll see."
Yeah, I mean, we
Yes.
met one.
We met a crystal dragon. He was about this close to me, and I motioned with my hand about 6 inches in front of my face.
Oh, she says, "That's right, you did. That's right. Yeah, and you lived. That's impressive."
Well, thanks to Henri's help.
I helped.
As bait, or
No.
'cause I important. I helped.
She made sure.
I made sure Kino was not scared. Didn't flinch.
I don't think Grin would know what that means in game.
I mean, Henri would. If Henri sees that Grin isn't, like understanding, she would literally say like, "I pointed her so that she didn't flinch in front of the dragon."
Yeah.
Okay.
And at this point, I think Grin would understand what my points are. So.
I don't know that they've ever had a conversation about that, but we don't have to get stuck on that.
I only mention that because I remember Henri telling me afterwards that she used the second port, not me, only because she used the first one also on me to kind of balance it out.
No, that's not true.
I thought you maybe it wasn't.
I mean,
maybe I'm misremembering it.
The second one was literally because that was after you said that you would sacrifice her to a dragon, so she wanted to make sure you couldn't lie about it.
No, exactly.
It wasn't just to balance it out.
No, because never mind.
But yeah, that was an interesting. Do you did you see like the city that the crystal dragon was in?
She said yes, but at the same time, I didn't really focus on that. I mean, that was kind of a minor thing compared to the other things that I was trying to study. But I did.
Did
Did
you
you-
happen to? Sorry, go ahead.
Nope.
That was where you guys. She said, "Was that where you guys were brought up?"
Yes.
No.
That's her. Yeah, she said, "I don't. Where were you brought up again? Daggerdale?"
Daggerford.
Oh,
Henri brought us
Daggerford. Yeah, Daggerford. I think that's right. Said anyway, I did. I mean, I didn't pay a close amount of attention to that, but she said I did.
Did you happen to see the crystal humanoid things that were?
Oh, yeah. She's so everyone knows that crystal dragon is not really in its right mind, and I don't know what it told you, but it it kind of made everyone its subjects, and there's kind of no going back from that.
Brother just looks at Kino.
I know
Yeah,
there was an evacuation.
yeah, a lot of them though ended up getting turned into those things. I don't know if to be fair though, it was kind of insane when it got released, so I don't know what it actually knows or not. But I remember talking about this with Jace because this was a big problem. Matter of fact, if it goes off into other cities, that'll be another issue. It probably won't, but it might. And yeah, those people are not coming back from that.
Okay, so we add kill that dragon to the list.
But anyway, first things first, I promise you, I know exactly. Like that's why sometimes giving out a lot of information is probably not the smartest thing. That's what Jace tells me. But remember, no matter what, and I'm not just saying this, the most important thing is to free or help Sablina or find out at least what happened because I'm telling you, if this goes ignored, we're going to have real problems quickly.
All right.
But yes, the dragons need to be dealt with at some point, absolutely. Especially the ones that aren't in the best of, mental states. And she looks at you, she says, "Brother, you're not gonna like this, but not all those platinum dragons came back in the right mental state."
I assume that.
Yeah. She said, I don't think, and by the way, it's easier for all of us to judge this, but you have to understand, dragons are literally the most powerful and probably, this is hard to say this, but it's probably right, the most sacred, true primordial beings in all of existence. And when you trap them, their ideas of reality and the way they experience reality is so much different than ours. Time is different than ours. So to them, being trapped like that, it would drive anything that's like that completely nuts for a little while. Um, I can't. I don't have a great way to explain this. I just know this is right. Not only do I feel it, but I've had some experience in this, given the places I've gone through and the friends that I've come across. Some of which she looks at Kino are dragons, and I will tell you this: what happened to them was absolutely mind-bendingly, torturously terrible. So that's why, at the end of the day, yes, did that crystal dragon basically kill a bunch of people? Yes, but at the same time, I don't even know if we should be judged. Like it's complicated. Then again, it's not fair to those people, so it's really complicated.
Is there a way to cure the mindset of the dragon?
Well, time certainly will, but I don't know if we have a ton of time with this kind of stuff. Yeah, it is possible, actually. Yes. You would need to find an expert in dragons, though. Yeah, we'll work on that afterwards. Yes, there's things we could do.
Is there a way after this we'll be able to keep in contact with you?
Well, as soon as you get back to this plane, I can find you. Thanks to Jace and the fact that you guys have books. Now, if you ever lose your book, I won't be able to contact you. But assuming at least one person has a book in their possession, then I'll be able to track you down and find you. So yeah, usually, like I said, I mean, this is kind of my priority. So now, I will tell you this: I'm putting a lot of faith in all of you. After I was told that this was kind of a stupid plan, that my plan was dumb. So, I will tell you this. If things start to go really, really bad from the help I'm doing, then I might just disappear. Just so you know. And I'm telling you that up front.
It's understandable.
All right. So, anyone else? And she said, "You've been quiet." And she looks at you, Whirl. She says, why did you, what brought you with the group? I know you came with Kylena." And she looks at you, Kylena. She says, "I know you're kind of here to cure your people, and I think that's really noble. But, like, Whirl, why? I mean, you're kind of putting yourself at huge risk here with everyone."
You know, you get caught up in things, and then it seems really important. And you know, I knew a little bit about what Kylena was looking for, and it's like we've worked together a little bit, so I wanted to help her.
And what about you, Henri? Why are you here? She said, "I'm kind of dumb. I should have asked all these questions from the beginning." Why are you here?
Like, why am I in the group?
Well, no, just why do you think it's important to be like a book holder, and like why do you even care about helping with this kind of stuff?
I mean, everybody to be happy. So, and all this stuff happening is really bad. So, if we can fix it, then I'd like to try to.
Good answer. She said, "What about you, brother?"
I have a few.
But like, what's the overall reason? Like, what's important to you?
There's a missing part of my life I'm looking to find.
Okay, fair. That's fair enough. Yep. And she looks at you, Gren. She says, "And Gren, I mean, besides maybe one day atoning for killing a bunch of gnomes, which is totally not your fault, by the way, but you know, bad things happen."
Yeah, trying to put that behind me. Um, I mean, I'm a born adventurer. I want to be a hero. I want to be known in history books as a hero. And
Hey,
in trying to do that, I've kind of fucked up a lot. So you
well,
gotta clean up your own messes, right?
well, that's actually a good answer. That makes sense why Mordecanian chose you. So, Kino, why are you here and what are you doing? Again, I'm kind of a moron for not asking these questions from the beginning. Maybe Chase is right about me. But why are you here, Kino?
Well, what I'm doing is definitely more complex than just helping Tiamat ascend. I'm trying to look out for everyone in this group. I didn't know before a few weeks ago why I even had this book. And I'd like to do some good in this world. I'd like to help dragons. I'd like to figure stuff out, figure out who I am, and help the people that I met in Neverwinter all those years ago.
Gotcha. She said, "Well, I mean, that's good. That's a good answer.
And
Oh, go ahead. I won't stop you. Go ahead."
and I mean, if I can prove myself to, you know, the queen that gave me everything that I wield today, that's, you know, the best reward I can ask for. And I have a few more questions if you could stick around for a few more minutes.
She said, "Sure. Also, before I forget, one important thing. Johnny's dead. Sokotash has that god-awful book, so maybe we deal with her later, too. Forgot about her.
I
Wow,
absolutely
that
want to deal with
sucks."
her. Yes. She's
As she says this, she literally gets ripped out of reality.
fuck.
So you guys actually see this happen. It is the same thing that happened to Johnny. It literally takes her immediately.
Well, that's not good.
I hope
God
she's okay.
damn it. Who hired Jarlaxle? Fuck. Damn it.
She might come back. John.
Alright,
always
hold on. Let's wait. Let's wait a few minutes.
Are you guys are so are you going back into the tiny hut?
I was always in the tiny hut.
Oh, okay, you were just talking through it. Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
It's just clear so she can
Yep.
see.
Yeah.
Great job, Kino.
Damn it, I didn't do anything. She brought up Sulcata. I wait without finishing the name.
Yep.
I wait.
Yeah. So how long do you guys want to wait?
I mean, if she doesn't come back in like an hour, we should probably just take a rest, take shifts. Are we sleeping here for the night?
I'll take the first shift.
I mean, do you think it's too late to leave? I mean, the whole point was to meet with her. We don't really have to stay here.
Well, because also, like, if she just comes back and we're gone,
I
Might
think also
bad on us.
doubling back through the carnival is maybe the worst thing we can do right now. I think we just stay safe, stay in one spot.
Okay.
She did tell us that we shouldn't venture out.
So she's done.
So if you guys go through it, so in an hour she does not come back. Do you guys want to take your long rest?
Honor, you want to message her?
Would we have waited an hour for that? Do you
No,
think-
you can message her before that. That's fine.
Yeah, sure. Let's say I wait about 10 minutes, and if she's still not back, I'll use ascending, and I'll say, are you okay? Where did you go? Should we wait for you?
So even though you don't get anything in return from that, you also know that the way that sending works, if she is within Solkatesh's plane and Solkatesh is not there, there's a good chance on misfire, but there is nothing.
You can send the message across any distance and even to other planes of existence, but if
Right.
if they're on a different plane than you, there's a 5% chance it doesn't arrive.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's possible to misfire.
It's also just possible that her domain has some barrier.
Yeah.
That is true too.
Try a second message.
Yeah, I'll try a second sending, same as the first.
All right. So after 10 minutes, you do get a message back, and it says, "It's fine. I'm just busy dealing with this bitch."
Respect it.
All right. Well, at least she didn't get eviscerated.
But no answer to should we wait?
That's all she said.
Okay. So I would repeat that to the party and say, I mean, probably our best guess then is to just sleep here for the night.
Yeah, it definitely sounded like wandering out could get dangerous. We might be fine, but who knows?
Is there anything that we can see outside of the tiny hut?
There are things that so once you go through, everyone do perception checks. They're subtle though, so let's see what you find.
26
20
on natural 20.
Yeah, 26. So you're going to see many outlines. There are hundreds of those. It's not invisibility, but there's hundreds of those creatures that bend light around them. Hundreds. You think they're creatures because they look like they're creature outlined. You don't know what they are. No one would have any experience with these at all. Like nature checks aren't going to work here. So there's lots of them roaming around, but other than that, there's nothing ominous.
Yeah, he would relay the hundreds of shapes that are currently floating around them.
But they don't seem to be able to get into the hut, right?
They're actually not even able to get into. So if you open up the thing, they actually can't. Seems like they're not even able to breach the threshold. So for instance, you guys are back here. They're walking around all of this area. and maybe back here, but of course, brother can't see that. So it doesn't look like any of them are like trying to get in here or whatever. They're just walking the path of the figure eight, it looks like.
Well, I was really having a good day.
I still think it was a good day.
Remember the custard eating contest?
Yeah.
Yeah, remember the riddle games? Remember Pixie Kingdom? That was fun. I mean, you gotta look at the bright side, you know.
Yeah. I
Cheer
don't know.
up. I
It's
demand
just-
it.
At least she's alive.
Man.
I demand you smile. Does Kino smile?
No, she's just kind of still processing everything she just heard.
Are
She's
you?
a sad
Where are
clown.
you right now?
I'm outside the hut. I'm like two paces outside the hut keeping watch. She hasn't really moved since the talk.
Well, I mean, if you guys are still outside the hut, I'm going to tell you guys to come into the hut because if there's stuff out there, I don't want you to get got.
Yeah, okay, I'll come in the hut.
Safe in the tiny hut.
Should
Okay.
we shift or
It probably still makes sense, yeah, to have people keeping watch just on the off chance.
Yeah, I'll
Well-
take first watch.
Kino and I each only need 4 hours of rest, so if we take both of the watches, then you guys can get a full night's sleep without worrying.
When Kino goes into the hut, Anu's going to tell Kino to sit across from her because I want to say something.
At this point, you guys see same effect. A man in blue clothing come through. I'll show you what he looks like. Hold on. I will post it into your channel in 1 second. All right. So, all right. You see him. You see him instantly come in, just like she did. Same effect. Probably a planeswalker too. He gets right outside of your tiny hut, and he says, "What happened? Where the hell is she?"
Who are you?
He said, "My name's Jace."
We
He
know a
said,
lot about
no.
you.
"He said, yeah, I'm a planeswalker too. What happened to Ellie?"
She was
She's
pulled away. No, hold on. She was pulled away by the mistress.
Oh yeah, fuck. He said, "All right." He said, "Can you tell me everything that happened right before that point?"
She was kind of catching us up on like why she was here and why she was assigned to us and possible things, you know.
Yeah, he said, "I'm really messing up the timeline really badly right now. Could you be a little more specific? I can't let anything happen to Ellie. If it does, literally we lost."
Well, she was telling us that there was a specific lady who might in the future be a problem and that maybe we should deal with her at some point. And then right then, she got taken away.
Okay, thank you. Thanks. And he vanishes exactly the way that he came in.
Hi.
Shit. Okay. That was.
I hope Ellie's okay.
I feel like he's the one that you have to get to answer your questions. I feel like he knows a lot.
I
I
mean,
feel like it's gonna be harder to wring an answer out of him.
I feel like if
Yeah.
he showed up, then something bad might have happened to Ellie. So I'd rather that she gets out of whatever she's in right now than we keep him around for answers of stuff.
I assume he was watching, saw her go away, and maybe can't see where she went, or
See,
something.
that's a long time to wait for that, though. If he could just pop in whenever.
It's true.
Also, I don't think you'd get any answers from him. He doesn't seem like the type.
Yeah, he didn't seem like he liked me very much. Anyway, and Kino's gonna sit across from Henri. Kind of confused.
Okay, so Henri's gonna like scooch as close as possible, and is going to, like, with both pointer fingers, put them under Kino's cheeks so that she has to smile.
And as right as that happens, you see them both come into existence mid-argument, and Jace is like, "This is what I mean, Ellie. This is what I fucking mean. You don't ever do what I seriously. What the fuck?" And you can tell he actually has tears in his eyes. He's so angry, and he's like, and he looks at you, all of you, and then he says, "Whatever," and he planes walks out.
Ellie, is everything okay?
See what happens when you smile, Kino? Everything
She
gets
said,
fixed.
"Yeah, I just got in trouble, but it's fine. He'll get over it. I got trapped in this like infinite mansion thing, but anyway, it's fine. She wouldn't try to kill. It's fine. He's over it. She wouldn't try to kill me. She wouldn't start a war with us. There's no way. But yeah, could I have
Wait,
been lost
I know
in
what
there
you're
for
talking
all
about.
of eternity? Maybe.
I know what you're talking about. The mansion. I know. I've been there.
Oh, the mansion, yeah.
Yeah. Well, trust me, you never, ever, ever want to get into the foyer and make a left because, oh my god, I could not get out. But and I couldn't planeswalk. It was a nightmare. I don't even know what Jace did, but it was a good thing he came. Anyway, whatever. It's all good. Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
You were a big help, so thank you very much for talking to us.
Yes.
And let me
Yeah,
help
sorry
you
if, by the way, if Jace was mean to you, I'm sorry about that. Hopefully he wasn't.
Hey, bring him
He was-
along next time.
He was worried about you. He didn't seem mean, though.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
really cared.
Yeah, he's kind of, I don't know what's going on with that, but yeah, she kind of blushes a little bit.
We do have one final question for you if you're up to it.
Wait, no, I think there's more than one, isn't there?
Well,
There's a few.
so here's the thing. I can definitely answer questions, but if I don't get back and recharge, I am going to be so much in trouble. So you have like 5-10 minutes. I've got to go though. But don't worry, I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, really quick. So let's start with who hired Jarlaxle to spy on us in Neverwinter?
Ooh, that's complicated. You remember that the Elminster that's in Eberron? Him.
Yes.
Jarlaxle doesn't know
Holy
that.
shit.
Yeah, Jarlaxle doesn't know that though.
That's considerably worse than we thought.
Yeah, it's bad. He's going to end up being bad. By the way, I know John Irenicus means nothing to all of you, but oh my god, we gave to him too. But not yet.
I'm gonna have you spell that later, Chris. In the meantime,
Yep.
can you tell me a little bit about my adopted father, Claudio Stroud?
That's one of the things that Chase absolutely made me promise after all hell broke loose and after he yelled at me and made me cry. Let's find out. I can't answer any more questions that will affect your future. Kino, I'm sorry.
Okay. So Johnny's dead. Can you reveal anything that happened
Yeah,
in the cabin?
What happened to Johnny in the cabin? She's thinking back. I mean, like, how he died?
Well, we know the planer, but something that happened. Teleport back. His dick was out, and then he went away.
Oh, kind of. No, so here's the thing. I actually think, it's weird. I think Sol Katesh is like evil, crazy thing because I want to say that she killed him, but he did something awesome for her. So I don't get it.
Okay. Well, I'll save you having to say her name more. So, can you tell us what's influencing the daylight around?
Oh, she can't. She can't grab me for like a couple weeks at least. Again, but that sucked. Yeah, I am gonna have to remember to not say her name though because After what Jace did wears off, if I say her name again, yeah, she's gonna get me again. I don't know how that works. I'm just glad that everything worked out.
Hey, look, if you need
What if I
help
had
with
starved to death, actually? And what if I didn't have like water that I have on? Oh man, wow. Yeah, that's scary.
do you know what's influencing the daylight around Luskin?
Oh yeah, a real, and that's gonna get a lot worse.
Um,
Henri, you had a question?
Oh, also, real quick, I don't know what's gonna happen with Strahd, but Ariel's plan is to literally creep the frozen north down into Luskin and eventually into Neverwinter, and then essentially force people to follow her, gain interest in the Pantheon, and then just probably go for like world domination crap. Let's not let that happen either.
good to know.
Yep.
Two things.
Yeah.
One, on a similar note, do you know what the aura was around Grin's village? Like why that was there?
So I know it has something to do with the Steel Dragon, but I also know that it has something to do with the Zentarum, and we didn't actually look into that. I'm gonna have to ask Jace to do that, and he's really, really pissed at me right now. But yeah, I can ask. I can try again.
And the second thing, I don't know if you know anything about this, but so we have this timepiece that lets us teleport. And one time when I used it, as we were teleporting, I saw this giant tower. Do you know anything about it?
Yeah.
Crystal tower.
Yeah. So what you saw was Eliza Seep's domain, because I vaguely remember Jace freaking out and saying that this is a reason why these people are too dangerous to deal with and everything. But just stay away from those people. Stay away from Eliza Zeeb. Stay away from Luxis, all that stuff.
Says
And
you
as
like-
as
We
she
all,
says
like-
that, all of you hear Luxis. No, you don't hear Eliza Zeeb for whatever reason, but all of you hear Luxis whisper in your ears.
Yeah.
You can tell she's kind of reckless. So this is what you guys are picking up so far. She's a little naive in some ways and a little reckless. She obviously wants to do to she obviously everyone the impression you're getting from is she's almost like she comes across as incredibly young, even though it's clear that she's been around for at least 300 years, and she's naive to a fault. But anyway.
Don't say that name, please.
Oh, she said, yeah, that's right. Oh, that's right, I forgot. That's right. Okay. I won't. Sorry.
Very important.
Yeah, about that. You're right. Yeah, see, I'm no good at this.
You're not bad. You're better than I would be.
Okay, so anyway, I've got to go. Otherwise I'm going to get in big trouble. But
Oh, hold on. We have
yeah.
one more question. If John wants to ask, but is he back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay.
Bella just sort of very quietly just look her dead in the eye and ask her who exactly betrayed the race of the prismatic dragons in Eberron.
Oh, she said super complicated. So, wow, I'm going to get in so much trouble for this, but I will tell you. But again, brother, if I tell you this, we don't make like emotional, like, and we don't rush to judgment or anything, right?
Correct.
Okay. So, Tiamat was the dragon who betrayed them, but it's more complicated because Bahamut knew that Tiamat was going to betray them, and he allowed it to happen. So honestly, both of them, I don't really know why. We're kind of cut off on that. None of our business, to be honest. But yeah, it seemed like yes, Tiamat had her reasons, but Bahamut maybe wanted it to happen. Anyway, don't rush your judgment. Sorry that I'm talking bad about your hero. But whatever. I think the truth is always best, but I don't know all the time. Anyway, I hope that didn't do anything to anyone, but just keep your cool. Like I said, I've there's been a lot of times that I've heard bad things about certain things, only to find out that it's fine. It's just more complicated than just like putting things into like two sentences. But anyway, yes, that's the truth, though, from what I understand. All right, so I really do have to go. I'm going to get in trouble. I'll try to see you guys tomorrow, though. Yep.
Thank you very
Let's
much.
get back after sleep.
All right. All right. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
And she phases out, just like she did before. She planeswalks.
Well, that was a lot.
Can you put my cheeks down now, Henri?
I don't
Right.
imagine you would have been able to talk regularly throughout that whole thing if I was still holding your cheeks up.
I like to think
But yeah.
Henri would try, though.
Yeah, she would. Absolutely 100%. But yeah, she'll let you stop smiling. But she'll look very satisfied. See? Smiling brings good things.
I don't.
You can't tell me otherwise. Because I can see the future. I know things.
I don't know. I know a little bit about the future, and I feel worse now.
Well, we know more about the past. So that's
Not
more
as
of a
much.
past thing than a future thing.
Not as much as you think.
I think so. Anyways, we should probably take a sleep now.
Oh, we should have asked her about the Brotherhood too.
Nope, too late.
Oh well, we'll see her again one day.
I think she said tomorrow.
Well then, tomorrow, even better.
Well, she's
Is
gonna cry unless she's
does
grounded.
brother have any like outwardly like things going on with him, or is he just stoically taking this in?
Brother is absolutely motionless.
Yeah, out of game, I think everyone realizes that, but like we just told the biggest zealot in the group that his god is not infallible. So
I mean, Grin's not surprised.
Neither is Kino. But Kino's not rubbing it in.
She's a little surprised. You gotta. She's very
the,
nice.
re- the but the reason I asked out of characters, as you can imagine, I mean, I think all of you at this point would know that there's probably, and brother, you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong about this, but there's probably your brother's probably acting strangely, if I had to guess.
Yeah, even
Yeah.
like utterly like mannequin motionless.
Right.
So are we gonna have to apologize to Neverember because we kind of thought he hired Jarlaxle,
He was still kind of a piece of shit, and also we're never going back there.
and also that's what kind of kicked off a lot of this.
Oh yeah, it really did.
It all kind of went downhill from there.
The main reason we left was because he wanted to kill me.
We didn't know that at the time.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
Did
we
we?
did. She was a true heir to the throne.
Yeah, but I don't think we know that. I don't think we know that he knows that.
Yeah, because I had the necklace that was attuned to
Yeah.
him.
That
We
only
won't
told
get-
us he was hunting heirs, not that you were an heir.
And okay, so out of character, Chris mentioned that there would be a very specific reason why he was thinking about that at the exact moment that we were in the room with him. Like, not necessarily that he knew, but he may have had an idea of it. Like, he was
Oh.
looking into it at the moment, and he would have known it soon if he didn't know it already.
I might have missed that subtext.
Well, there's that, but there's also like now you guys are starting to hint. There's so many more things going on that are hard to guess without someone, unfortunately, either allowing you insight into or you really digging into it on your own. Like you just like, how could anyone ever guess there's a simulacrum of Oldminster hiring Jarlaxle? It's just not possible. So keep all that in mind until we get into actual things. It's just like real life, very confusing. Can be like real life, very complex and confusing and all of that. So while it's true that all of that happened with Lord Neverember, it's possible there's more complexity to it. Maybe not. So
Also, Grin talking. Strahd is real.
Did you think that he was just some bogeyman that they made up to scare children?
I mean, I thought he was like a just a character, like in a book.
Yeah, matter of fact, everyone in the group believes that, but Kylena. That's something to keep in mind. All of you would believe that Strahd is a fairy tale. Not Kylena, since she has firsthand experience with Domains of Dread, but
Like I understand that vampires exist, but
Yeah, we have what we're. Oh God, we have to put together a list. So we have to. There's the simulacrum in Eberron. There's the demiplane in Greyhawk. We need to take care of our doubles. The Mirakino that I thought I saved 50 years before we activated it originally was tracked down and killed. And
you got her
then-
killed twice.
Well, no, I tried to save her. I didn't kill her the second time.
You got her killed twice.
She looks legitimately upset about that. And then, I guess eventually we have to do something about Auril. And then Prismir, which I think that and the court take precedence. But I think maybe Prismir first.
She did seem to think that Prismir was an immediate threat to the destruction of the world.
And we gotta kill that crystal dragon.
I don't think that's anywhere near the top of the list.
No, I'm just, if we're making a list.
I'll make sure to add it to the hypothetical list. And then, yeah.
Brother, are you okay?
He's not going to answer.
That's not good.
Darn, I can't do the smile thing with him.
Did anyone bring his charging cable?
Kina's just gonna put a hand on Grin. Just shake her head.
Grin looks confused. Okay.
Just
Let him go.
yes.
Henri is just gonna say really quietly to Brother that if there's anything I could do to help, just let me know, okay?
you guys at this point see a little girl, 7 years old, ethereal blue.
Henri?
Yeah, she's 7 years old, ethereal blue, in the mist right here of the midst of all those things. She materializes, and it looks like she's looking right at everyone, and she says, "Come and play with us. Come on, come on. I'll give you a prize."
All right, Grin, get after her.
Grin starts walking in that direction.
No. Come back.
Kind of prize.
It was a joke.
She says, "All the prizes hidden underneath the Witchlight Carnival. Come out here. Come out here. All the stalls are open. Come on."
I don't think
She
they're open.
she goes to a stall, and she is in front of it, and it's clearly closed, and she puts her hands up and the stall opens, and then she's like doing something, maybe playing a game. She said, "Oh, it's so fun. Come out here and play the game with me."
I'm gonna use a divine sense.
Yep. You do. So this one. So, you hit divine sense. 300 fiends.
Yeah, let's not go over there.
You also get a large amount of fey creatures, but you can't pinpoint them at all. You know there are many, and you know that they exist. But for some reason, and this has never happened to you, your divine sense doesn't actually show you where they are.
I share that information.
Kino's gonna look kind of confused, be like, I don't think you're doing it right. Hold on. And
Yep.
she's like, oh. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's a lot.
Now, Kino, the other thing that you realize with divine sense is that the number changes subtly. So Grin was like, "There's at least 300 fiends," and you're like, "No, it's even more. You're getting 340 fiends, but it might have to do with when you ping it."
Oh, that's really bad. Yeah, let's stay in here.
Anyway, she looks back and she says,
Aw.
"Come on, it's fun out here." She actually brings back, so she in her ethereal form, she shows you an ethereal box that looks like a giant present box. It's also the same blue, and she says, "See, prize."
Did you win?
She said, "Come over here and we'll open it together."
I can't leave this or else it would pop.
She said, "It's okay if it pops."
No, I spent a lot of time making this.
We should probably not even talk to her, Henri. Let's not.
Yeah.
She
Let's
just
take that
literally she hears that and she throws the present down into ethereal form. It kind of like poofs out an ethereal thing, and she just literally sits there and stares at you. It's a little terrifying. She looks like she's incredibly angry. Or she's just gonna stand there.
Menacingly.
Yep.
So let's set up a watch.
Seems like a good idea.
I'll take first watch. Who wants
Well,
to
no,
take?
I thought
Well, no, because they'll get their 4 hours in, so they'll take like.
We were actually gonna take. I know I could take the first one.
Okay, that's fine. If you guys want to take first watch.
I'm also already in my armor. I don't want to have to spend 10 minutes taking it off and then 10 minutes later putting it back on to do my watch.
That's fair.
There.
We could if you want.
It's usually better to do watch in pairs, right?
When do you want to wake up too? That's an important thing that I need to know from for my housekeeping. What time? So you believe that it's somewhere a little after midnight right now. So what time are you planning on walking out into this fair?
What time does the carnival open?
So you don't. The answer is you don't know. But the correct thing to know is, are you going to wait for people to start coming in,
Probably.
or are you just going to wait till the sun goes up and come outside?
If
I
the
would
sun
wait.
comes up, and if we can have somebody divine sense and see if there's still a bunch of fiends. If not, it might be better to already be about and not like walk out of it
Yeah.
when there might be people around.
Yep. It does tell you fey creatures too, right? I am right in that, correct? Celestial fey undead.
It does.
Special fiend undead.
Yes.
Oh, there is.
undead.
Oh, it doesn't tell you fey. I fucked that up then. But yeah, that's right. Okay. That's fine. But fiend is correct. You still got the fiend number. There were fey too, by the way. But yeah.
Yeah, that was my thought. I think we'd probably want to be out before there's like, because I think coming out of the tiny hut, if there's just people around, could be weird. But
Yeah.
it might be better though than assuming that the carnival is open and then walking around and having somebody come up and be like, "Hey, the carnival's not open. What are you doing here?"
So the rest of the night, through the watches, the rest of the night, you notice that throughout the night. So that girl starts staring at you and literally doesn't leave for like 3 hours. Same thing. Then many children are summoned or something, and they're all ethereal, and they all look like they have giant fangs, like mouths that are razor sharp. They look terrifyingly scary. Their mouths are elongated as well in a terrifying manner. They're all wearing white when they all come in, and they start to go around this area here. And they start, so there's hundreds of them, and they're all walking around doing what looks like they're like testing their limits, investigating each of the stalls. One of them, when you get to here, you see is able to break this little area here, and he starts doing something with the water. And then a lot of them go into the water. And you guys notice, and this is happening during your watch, that the water, they're literally rising things out of the water, like it's becoming water serpents and everything else. And they get to here and they start splashing water on things and it goes through. Once they get to about here, though, they realize that he's whatever he was doing here, they just can't. And then you see them disappear and go through and they try this area too. But they are trying to basically see if they can somehow get the water from the stream to come out and maybe try to even splash the tiny hut or something. But they never, ever, ever throughout the whole night. I imagine whoever's watching would probably start waking people up, but they never get closer than this area here and this area here. Um, so for tonight, you were able to go through, and that was the big thing, though. Hundreds of them start trying. Matter of fact, some of them start squeezing through areas here too, and you notice that they get popped out of existence, um, but you don't know why. But anyway, this happens all night. During sunrise, around 6:30 or so, when the sun hits out, they become completely invisible or they get banished. You're not sure. And it seems pretty still. And then at around 9 o'clock, all the music pipes up and the fair starts to come alive, but there's no one at this point within the fair at all. But the music starts to hit. And you notice that there is that same smell of like cotton candy and treats and other things. It comes back at around 9 o'clock.
Oh, I think Mr. Light is happy again.
So before the fair opens, so the Witchlight hands start to come out dutifully, and they start to open up their stalls. No one's in here yet, but there are like hands going through as well. And you notice that Mr. Witch and Mr. Light must make their rounds and expect every single thing, maybe to see if it's in order, also maybe to see if it's clean, also maybe to see if everyone's doing the job they're supposed to. Eventually, Mr. Light, though, does come around and he sees all of you within the tiny hut when he was going back and investigating here. And he says, "Oh, you slept out here the whole night? Dear me, my goodness. What on?" She said, "Did anything happen?"
Um, Nothing that weird.
Well, thank goodness, because I've heard terrible things. As a matter of fact, I know terrible things happen at night. Good. I'm glad you're okay, though.
Yeah, we saw like a little ghost girl.
She said, "Oh, that's kind of not the worst of it, but yeah, don't if they offer you things, just don't do it."
Yeah, no, I mean we're well versed in that kind of business.
Good.
Henri just
Good.
looks
Did anything else happen?
not really.
What were they doing? What did they try to like attack you?
They were trying to splash us.
Oh. Ooh. One thing you should know. Oops. Oopsie. Uh, don't touch the water.
Yeah,
Matter of fact, definitely don't get splashed with the water. That would be catastrophically bad for you. It actually takes memories. Worse, it's actually been known to, let's just say that you can even lose skills and other things. Like we once had an amazing act here, and he was human, from here, and well, also this is kind of confusing, but anyway, long story short, this water is magic. It's actually a scarf. Show you later. For now, though, the water inside of it, uh, kind of makes you forget things permanently, and you do not want that. He lost every. He used to be one of our greatest acts, and he kind of lost everything. Can't really do any kind of acrobatics anymore. Kind of forgot who he was. Terrible thing. We tried to heal him, didn't work. So, yeah, do not get splashed with the water. By the way, Zablina set this up as our perimeter. It's not like we like I can't stress this enough. If this was my if I mean if I had total control over this, I would never have something so dangerous. But so Zablina does what she wants, and well, it doesn't affect us, but any human, anything that's dwarfs, I think it affects. Maybe gnomes. But Shadar-kai, no. Elves, no. But just to be very careful with the water. Don't drink it. No matter what you do, do not drink the water either. Maybe don't camp near the water next time either. Whew, that was close. Glad you're okay though. So I'll anyway, it's a beautiful morning and people will be coming into the fair soon. I can tell today is going to be a great day. I'm so excited. Um uh Feel free to enjoy the fair and tonight I'm sure we'll have a crowning ceremony. And then maybe we can talk about getting you to Prismeer.
Sounds like a great plan for the day.
Okay. All right, wonderful. Because I've much to do, much to do, much to do. And he claps his hands and he continues on doing whatever he was doing previously.
I had a question before we say our farewells.
Oh, sure.
Did you ever talk to the man running the mines? I know that was something you mentioned before.
The man running the mines. Remind me.
The mystery mines. It was very
Oh,
scary.
yes, I did actually. Yes, he can't be doing that. He can't be being so mean to everyone. He said, yeah. By the way, and he says, where is he? And he looks up and he opens up. He says, "Oh, that's weird. No, he doesn't stay with the rest of us. I've always thought that was strange." But and he goes to this cart here, and he's like, "Wait, what happened last night? Wait, did you guys see anything? Wait, where is he?
Did we see anything?
You didn't." And he opens up the door, and this is what you guys see. It's lined with these green glowing mirrors. And each of the mirror has a reflection of him inside of it, but no one's in that room. And he says, "What on earth is this?" He says, what? And he
Can I
says,
walk
"Oh
in?
my goodness." And he says, I need to tell Mr. Witch about this right away.
I'm going to do a divine sense.
Nothing.
Hmm.
No celestial, no fiends, no undead.
So we can see the guy in these mirrors, but he's
Correct.
not in the room. Is he?
His reflection is frozen in the mirrors, and there's many of them, but he is not within the room at all.
Okay, so he's not moving in the mirrors. He's frozen.
No, it's frozen. Yeah.
Where, okay, he's not like painted on, right? Like it's like
No, so
he
when
is
you
in the room, but he's not.
So when you're gonna have to walk inside and do investigation and perception checks if you really
I don't know
want
if
to
I want
see.
to walk inside.
Yeah. It does look three-dimensional though. From where you're standing, you can see it. It looks three-dimensional.
How do I have to go inside to do an investigation check?
Yeah, because you kind of have to touch the edge of the mirror if you want to do investigation too. You can do perception check from where you are. It's just a little difficult.
Do we see his
Did
mechanism?
Mr. Light go inside?
No, did not go inside. He said he's gonna go get Mr. Witch, find out what's going on.
Can I do an investigation check from outside?
You can do it yes, you can do an investigation check on the actual wagon, but in order to do investigation on the mirrors, you have to kind of touch the edges and stuff. You have to be in there.
Do we see
But you can do an outside. Yeah, you can do outside of it. Go ahead.
the mechanism that controls the ride? Do we see that anywhere?
No. Nope. That's a great question, but no. You don't see it from where you are. No.
A 20 to investigate outside of the wagon.
All right. So the only thing that you notice is that, and this is very important, there are no footsteps entering or leaving this wagon at all. You expect to see something, and you're sure of this. There's no path in or out when it comes to footsteps, which is odd. especially considering that this was a dwarf and he was, a little heavy and not very light on his feet. So that's strange. Um, the other thing that you notice is that there is no forced entry at all. Like there's no telltale signs of any kind of forced entry into this place at all.
The green glow of the mirrors doesn't resemble anything similar to Luxis, right? That I saw.
Uh, no, but it does resemble. There is something that jogs your memory in this. The green glass does look very similar to that green glass that you saw in that ominous vision of the city getting wiped out, where it was all like this very strange, reflection of green glass. It looks exactly the same as that.
Oh,
Okay.
glass gloom?
Yeah,
Oh boy. Oh no.
it does look exactly the same.
So do you guys think it's safe to go inside?
Not even a little.
Yeah, it does not seem safe.
Out of character, we are outside of the actual published module now, which is exciting. So
We only saw this glass once, and it was when Sarek was demolishing Luskin and turning it into a city of green glass. That's kind of what this reminds me of.
now, the one thing you do see when you get a little closer to the thing is that his name is also when the doors open, his name is carved within the first basically entranceway or hard with the whole wagon, and it says Zephyxo, Zephixo. Um, and then of course you see his reflection in all of these mirrors, but they're frozen.
All right, so let's not do anything. Let's wait till Mr. Witch and Mr. Light check it out. This is their farm. This the carnival.
Yeah, I was like, yeah.
So
Figured
in
we
like
wanna
10
check with
minutes,
them.
Mr. Witch does come back with Mr. White. He says, "What's going on? Let's see." And he opens the door. He says, "You were." Mr. Light says you were camped right outside. You saw nothing.
No, we saw nothing.
Ah, that is strange. All right. And he pushes the door back, and he takes out his pocket watch, and he does something. He does something. He says something very, very quietly under his breath. This pocket watch is the size of his palm. It's very big, and it's gold, and it starts to whirl and move around, and then you see this exhibit start to pack itself up, um, uh, and he stops it. So this is what you guys see. This is actually pretty neat. So what you see is that first the track itself starts to roll up, and as it hits the first minecart over here, the minecart starts to shrink, impossibly small. This starts to roll all the way up, and each time it hits a minecart, each one shrinks, and then it hits another one and it shrinks, and it hits another one, shrinks, and it's another one, shrinks. And then all of this gets rolled up, and then the dragon mouth closes over the rolled up track, and the entire dragon's mouth now with this like mountainous thing, the dragon mouth closes. As it closes, the entire wooden dial starts to get smaller and smaller until this area here and this thing here meet together. And then it all becomes like one kind of mountain. This is still in the center though. This piece here with the eye is still in the center. And then as this starts to become smaller and smaller and smaller, you notice that the mountain itself starts to also shrink until this entire thing becomes a dial the size of maybe like 8 inches or so. So this entire thing shrinks too. And Mr. Witch goes to pick this up, and as that happens, and he picks it up, the cart starts to open, and the mirrors themselves start to move slightly, and then they stop, and he's like, what is going on? He says, this is not right. Oh, he puts the whole mystery mine down, and he undoes everything, and he puts the ride back up. He says, okay, all right, well, I'm really sorry, but we have a big problem here. That can't happen because every single exhibit that we run, I can use this watch to pack it up, and it's not packing properly, which means this has somehow been tampered with. I don't know if it's been. He says. He looks to Mr. Light. He says, "What did you say to him yesterday?" And Mr. Light says, "This is not my fault. Are you kidding me? I didn't do anything." And he says, I was maybe a little hard on him, but like I didn't do any of this." And he says, no, don't worry, I believe you. And he looks back, he's like, "Are you sure you saw nothing?" Like, was there any kind of strange lights or glow or anything at all?
We saw a creepy glowing little girl, and then we saw some serpents come out of the river try to splash us.
Yeah, no. I mean, yeah, so he says, unfortunately, those kind of things happen every night. I mean, I've seen it myself. That's why we all stay up there. He said, what did you say? Henri, I think your name was?
I mean, when we first came over here, we didn't think much of it, but that window of the door was glowing.
He said, that is a little strange. I've never seen his window glow. What color was it glowing?
I think it was green.
Oh, like these, like whatever these are? Oh, this is
Yeah.
strange. Yeah, this is strange. Well, we have a problem. I mean, I can't pack up his exhibit, and we certainly can't open with something dangerous afoot. Oh, this is a problem.
Can't you just shut the ride down for now? Just put up an out of order sign?
He said, I suppose we could. I don't really feel comfortable though bringing in guests and having them, what if this is dangerous? What if this could affect? And Mr. Light says, "Oh my God." He says, I really hate to do this, but could you please look into this? We have so much to do before the fair opens, and for us to actually open the fair, Mr. Witch is right. Like, what if this is dangerous? What if just by getting in close contact with this is problematic? What if this is putting off dangerous energy or something?
I mean, the whole fair can be dangerous, can't it?
Have you
The fair has never been dangerous to people coming in. This is new.
I mean,
finger Vecna?
Yeah, we got a dangerous
we
prize.
did a pie eating contest the other day, and people almost died.
Well, he said, yeah, that is definitely part of Sabrina's thing, but at the same time, he said that's things that we understand. What if? I mean,
Wait.
what?
Sorry, I just want to clarify. Now they can say the name.
They did say the name. They did say the name. Yep.
Oh.
Also, what about the water around this? I thought you just went over how dangerous it was.
Yes, but we are not supposed to be putting people in danger. Do you say anything about Sabrina? Do you say anything about that, Henri? Because that was a good catch. Do you say anything though?
Yeah, she probably would. She'd probably be like, oh, you can say that name now, because you couldn't say it yesterday.
He says, what name? What do you mean? You mean Zablina?
Yeah.
He says, like, we couldn't say that name?
Yeah. We tried asking you about, like, this whole fair and stuff, and you couldn't tell us. You don't remember?
He says, I don't remember that, but, and Mr. Witch says, oh, this has been a confusing day. Listen, just do me a favor. Maybe you're right. Maybe we have to open anyway. That's not very responsible of us, by the way. Yes, the pieing context is dangerous, but people do know what they're getting into beforehand. We do give them warnings. I suppose we could tell them that, careful of the ride, one of our practitioners disappeared into a green glowing mirror. Go at your own risk, but I can't imagine that's something that people would be, at ease with. That
Just-
said, maybe there is something that we could do to maybe cover the ride. I don't even.
Just give
But
it
no-
the same warning you give the river. Just, hey, don't go on that. It's dangerous.
Yes, but the problem also is you don't understand. We were planning on leaving here soon, and that we can't pack up. That's the big that's what I didn't want to get into, but that's the thing that concerns me more than anything. I know Mr. Light just wants this to be a happy place or whatever, but what am I supposed to do? Leave this behind?
That would not be
That's
ideal.
that's not good for anyone.
So does the river water have any effect on magical items?
I think it does. Yes, I think it does. By the way, the river, I don't know to explain this to you. It's actually a scarf, but don't. It's very like strange. But this is one of the magical items that we were given to run this fair. That river can be recalled. The problem is, if I recall the river, it will start a process that I cannot stop, and the fair will be packed up.
But like, if I take a bucket of that water and I throw it on these magical items, what would it do to it?
It's a good question. I've heard things. We'd have to do some experimentation, but I think it ruins them. I don't know for how long. I don't know if forever, but yeah. I mean, you could certainly put. Do you have magic items that we can test this on?
I mean, I don't know that I want to get rid of any of my magic items, but
I have this tiny hat.
No, not the tiny hat.
Well, he said, let's just deal with the problem at hand, though. The guests are going to be coming in within the hour. How am I supposed to pack up this fair?
Grin looks over at Brother. Has he moved at all night?
No,
Nope.
I don't think so. I don't think so, brother. Is that true?
Yeah, he has not moved.
So yeah, I think out of game, you guys would be very concerned at this point.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'd be concerned in game too.
But I'm just saying, out of game, this would be cause for concern for everyone. I think so. Yeah.
Grin's gonna wander away from this whole conversation over to Brother.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm texting you now, Chris.
Okay.
He's gonna like knock on his chest plate. Hey, come on. I know you heard some bad stuff, but we got shit to do. You gotta suck it up for now.
Grin's really bad at giving pep talks.
Very nice, Grin.
Brother, come on.
Grin, sometimes people just need time to deal with things.
We don't really have time. And we can't have him standing here like a statue.
I mean, does brother respond?
No.
Just
Yeah,
let
something's
him
wrong
sit
here.
there.
No,
Yeah,
something's
I-
wrong here. This isn't him just trying to figure something out. This is something wrong.
No, he's
He does have to reevaluate his whole worldview at this point, so.
So-
just let him sit.
Yeah, we'll move him in front of the entrance to the ride so that nobody can get by.
I feel like you two aren't concerned enough.
I'm very concerned, but I don't want to make things worse. I respect his situation.
I was equally concerned about when you had your moment with the whole mind thing, but like we didn't try and push you past it either.
We didn't tell you to suck it up.
And tell you that we don't have time for this.
We always have time for each other, Grin.
Okay.
So I think that brother is going to be okay because he's strong, just like you're strong, and like we're all strong. But I think maybe he needs, just a little bit more time.
I think there's something more going on here, and if I can't goad him into moving, that means there's a problem.
do you guys want me to like investigate him and see if there's something broken? Isn't he like mechanical?
If he
Yep.
was just really upset, he would have said something to me by now.
No, I don't think.
That's what I don't think you two understand.
like if I look at his eyes, I don't know if he has like pupil dilation or anything, how it works mechanically. Are there any signs of life?
So the other thing too is that brother doesn't need to breathe, but he does have liquids and stuff running through him. So there is a very slight like hum on him that you can of course investigate to see. This is how you can medicine check this as well on Warforged to make sure they're living, kind of thing.
Yeah, Kylena, I think you should check it out.
Can I investigate him instead of medicine check him?
You can. Yeah, because he's Warforged, you can, yeah.
That's a 30 for investigation.
Yeah, he's alive. You feel the very slow hum of things working underneath. But the other thing that you get from this is that he is probably thinking to himself, but you don't know that for sure. And he's probably devoted to whatever this is. But he could also be going through a similar thing in your mind of something that's been through like a traumatic event. It could literally be catatonic as well. Until you get some kind of movement or response from him, you won't know for sure what's going on. But he is alive.
Well, the good news is that he is physically functioning, but, other than that, I don't know much about him.
I think brute force isn't the answer to trauma.
I wasn't trying to brute force it. I just wanted to see if he would react.
It's okay. We understand, Grin.
Yes, we understand you have a certain way of doing things, and that we love you for that way, even though it's very specific.
Don't patronize me.
Grin, don't make me make you smile.
I'm standing up. You can't reach.
I don't think you can reach me either.
I'll climb you.
Gross.
Do not gross Henri. She is
Joy.
outside. She is outside of your purview. You stay away from her.
Now that you guys have been around for long enough too, has anyone been looking inside the carriage or no?
I would have been. I would kind of be like, I don't know, brother.
So
well
Worrell,
enough to-
his device is within the carriage. It is in the back. You see it. You found it. That eye thing is in there.
Oh, it was out. Okay.
Yeah, I'd like look
It's just
over
not
at the
obvious.
group.
It's just not obvious. Yeah.
I would look over at the group and see how the conversation is going about and around brother, and see that I don't know if progress is being made, but I just sort of like chip over and be like, "Hey guys, the his little widget for running the thing is like in the back, in the carriage thing. I found it using my eyeballs."
Ooh.
I don't know if it's okay to use like spells. I could try to use like telekinesis to get it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have mage hand if it's light.
So, brother, so at this point, what this is what you guys see as you're going through this. There is a column of steel and platinum that just encompasses brother directly, and he's taken. It's just like what happened with him in the tomb.
Great.
Okay, fine, Grin. You may have had a point. Something else might have been going on.
So, brother, because this has to be a quick conversation. We're actually over time, but we can do it right now. You guys can theoretically listen into this, but just remember, canonly, no one knows what's going on.
I am gonna
here.
head out. I do have some family stuff to do, but
Oh yeah, you're in Tennessee too. Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
If it's got to be secret, then we should probably stop recording and not listen in, right?
Yeah, I'll dip out.
Yeah, it's probably
yeah.
better not to listen in, but yeah. But brother, John, we'll do that right now though.
No
Yeah,
spoilers.
sounds good.
Yeah.
great session,
Luck.
guys.
Yep.
Yeah, this
And,
was. We checked off a lot of questions.
Thank you, our stand-in recorder.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Matt,
thanks, Max.
Yeah, thanks.
Because I don't know that we'd ever remember anything that happened without recording.
This was crucial. If
You've been spoiled.
that recording is going to be a lifesaver, let me tell you. I'm going to at least watch it through like 1.5 times because there are so many questions I need to get. So thank you very much, Max.
Yeah. This is actually so out of game. This is actually one of the reasons why the campaign officially starts. It's not because of Witchlight. It's because of the Planeswalkers. And so because they actually have enough questions to start quests that you guys need answers to. For instance, it is really set up like a giant fantasy simulator in the sense that like how you guys would ever know what's going on with Elminster as an example to this. Like it just you'd have to be in the right place at the right time and dig in the right areas and whatever. And obviously that's next to impossible. Somebody could have figured that out. It is developed so that you could have figured that out multiple times, but of course it didn't go those ways or whatever. So that's why the planeswalkers are so important, and that's how the campaign really starts. It's going to be like this with every group, and then you guys get full. Again, you can ignore all these. You don't actually have to do any of them. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.